And I'm really excited. This flower pot is coming back. Very hard, very rare for these things to come back. This is my favorite flower pot I've ever owned, I've ever had. I have them the last 2 or 3 years and then they fade like these guys. This one has a little bit on top, but it might have something to do with the flow. Look at this, Pasillopora is growing out of the root. It somehow dropped the seed on the dying flower pot, but this one is coming back. It's got something to do with my water quality. A little bit too much phosphates. And I'll tell you what I did, and I think it's what's working. Water changes above all, but all kinds of stuff growing. I'll show you what I did. And I'm running a trial on this thing. It's mostly the water changes. But I put this back up. I had it running before. My tank was running perfectly. It's a 2 little fishies, little bioreactor thing, pellet reactor. But I'm going to change this stand. I'm just making sure it's leak proof. The reason why I stopped running is because this thing leaks all the time right here at the rim. And what happens is it's got a little plastic gasket and a rubber one, seal, almost like a car filter. And what you got to do is clean that off really well every time you open it, and then add a little bit of coconut oil is what I do, just a dab of coconut oil rubbing around, just like if you're changing the oil filter on a car. And I just snugged it by hand and it didn't leak. So now I know the trick to that, and I got that off a forum on YouTube. Not the oil thing, but they told me that little plastic gasket needs to be cleaned and make sure it's seated properly. So it's just like working on your car, basically. Changing the oil filter, it's the same thing. If you don't dab that gasket full of oil, a little bit of coconut oil, it will slide and snag and leak very easily. Now I just snugged it by hand and it's not leaking. So now let that run all day. And I know once I get this thing settled in, I was running this on my tank for years, and the leaking just had me so fed up that I stopped it. I'd come home from work and this thing was in a puddle of water. So I'm just leaving it like this for now. I have a stand for it that looks really nice, but we'll see if this takes down my phosphates and my nitrates like it did before. So yeah, but the water changes have made a difference for that Goniopora, 100%. These guys don't really care. They're always multiplying, and there's a new baby right there. This guy made his move down here, and there's a bunch more over here. I have one here, and there's one on this side. I don't know if you guys can see that. The light's really bright, but there's a pretty big one there. So, warning to you guys, these anemones, once they normally stay in one place, but they decide to move over, and just look what they did to my war coral. And war corals are tough, but anemones killed that in one day. It was gone. He was alive one day and the next day, but he's encrusting all over here. So I think he will continue. He'll probably encrust and go all the way down. Killing this bacillopore, probably he will. But the anemones, they do. They're stingers. They sting and kill everything. So, but I love them. So I'm going to keep them anyway. I'm just stupid like that, I guess. You know, as long as they don't start messing with some of my, like this baby here. But you never know where they move to. And they will wreak havoc. I definitely need more flow in this tank. And that's my next project. After I get these phosphates and nitrates under control. I never had problems with phosphates and nitrates, and I stopped running that bio pellet reactor, and they shot up to pretty nasty levels. So the softies love it. Those pulsating zinnias in the back there, they love it. They multiply, but some of my more delicate corals, they don't like it. So, at all. So, thank you, YouTube, for that information on that little plastic gasket. And then once I knew that they had to be clean, you just add a little dab of coconut oil. And I use coconut oil because that's what I had on hand. But I imagine you can use, you know, corn oil, whatever, just a dab. And you just lubricate that gasket, and trust me, the leak will stop. It's just like changing an oil filter on your car. Thank you for that forum, to give me that idea to do that. I appreciate that. And it gave me that mind to stop those leaks, because they were pretty annoying. Thank you. Let's see if these guys wanna play. Very few fish like camera. My domino damsel's the only fish I've seen that likes in the camera. It's see, they don't like it, man. These guys normally come out and play, but the minute they see this camera, I'm gonna try to get in an angle here. So, my yellow tangs, they usually, I don't even need food anymore. They just come out and play, jump in my hand. But they see that camera. They don't like the camera. Probably looks like a big mouth. Ready to eat them. Yeah, they know. I'll have my girl film. I'll do another film with my yellow tangs. Yeah, they're so beautiful. They're so friendly. It took years to get them that close to me, but they're so friendly. Yeah, they don't like the camera. Well, thank you guys.